Without tariffs, this country would be in such trouble, as they were for many years. That's why we owe $38 trillion.
You call it trade war, and I wouldn't characterize that. I think it's just President Trump tries to raise some revenues from the tariffs. It's a given. I think no country is going to be immune to that. Everybody's going to pay some. It's a matter of a little bit more, a little bit less. Depending on your position of strength in a negotiation. I think this is going to be the pattern that's going to be carried forward in future dealings with Washington. You're not going to go away with anything that get some sympathy from President Trump. He has always been a tough negotiator. And the nature of this deal is going to be only last for a year, means that he'll come back to the negotiating table again in another year. So I think this is going to be the new normal. That's how President Trump negotiates, and that's how China responds. Well, I think there's already no trust between Chinese government and American government anyway. It's all going to be negotiation based on, as I said, in a position of strength. And I would say that President Trump's way of doing things, he's trying to make America less dependent on China. That's for sure. And in the same way, Chinese government is also trying to make China less dependent on the United States. And I think there's definitely selective decoupling going on. Better metaphor for that, we call it de-risking. But at the end of the day, you can see the statistics here that China's exports to the United States has been declining steadily quarter after quarter. This latest month figure shows that almost a 20%, I think it's about 20% decline. Nevertheless, China's exports has still been at a reasonable level. So far this year, it's been about 1% increase. That shows that China's exports is resilient, and we don't have to be totally dependent on the United States market. I think, both sides are going to come back to the negotiating table again in the future. Practically for any matter moving forward, there are plenty of issues that needs to be resolved between the United States and China. I think I need to point out a very interesting phenomenon. President Trump is calling this the G2. In a G2 world, there's going to be negotiation. There's going to be going back and forth. The Chinese government hasn't officially accepted that title yet, but I think my guess is that they're happy to see being called a party of the G2.